We're joined now by co-offensive coordinator Bryan Harsin. Coach Harsin, we just saw two plays against Baylor that would not have been possible were it not for the great play of your O-line. You knew that some of your success this season would be dependent on that unit's development. They've allowed only 8 quarterback pressures this season, second in the Big 12. What do you think has been the key to that unit's success?
Yeah, I think the first thing, you start with the run game. You know, just a mentality that those guys have as far as what we want to do, attitude-wise and physicality-wise in games. Coach Searles does a great job with preparing those guys for that. As far as the pressures go, I think it's a combination of things. It's the O-line obviously doing a better job in pass protection, knowing their assignments, better techniques, you know, just another year in the system and understanding what we're trying to do. It's also the wide receivers and David Ash, you know, getting the ball out on time as well. So it's guys working together is what it is. But those guys up front, they care tremendously about protecting the quarterback. They care tremendously about taking care of the line of scrimmage in the run game. And so I think it comes down to just that unit of guys, those 5 guys working together and taking a lot of pride in it.
And last Saturday, with Donald Hawkins out to injury, you saw Luke Pellman step up. What can you say about the job he did?
Yeah, you know, Luke has played for us as a role player in a lot of different areas on the field, and he's kind of been that 6th guy to go in there. Played tight end for us, he's played tackle, guard, you know, all different positions, and so Luke has prepared himself for that opportunity. The one thing I can say about Luke, he's always at practice, he's always upbeat, he's always prepared, he's always got a great mindset. And so it's just a matter of time. The O-line position is physical. It's a matter of time before somebody's going to get dinged and you're going to have to fill somebody else in there. And Luke did that, and a credit to Josh Cochran, you know, moving from right tackle to left tackle, bringing Luke in and put him at right tackle. And so, you know, just that whole combination that Coach Searles did with the, you know, when Donald went down was great. And those guys responded and did a very good job.
And an extension of your O-lines, you mentioned tight ends. MJ McFarland had a big game against Baylor. What can you say about his development as a blocker and as a receiver?
Well, we knew MJ could run routes and catch the ball. You know, he's a big, tall target. You know, it's hard to miss when he's running down the field. And so that was something we knew that he brought to the game, and we had to utilize him that way. Now, in order to keep yourself balanced and not so predictable, he's got to come on as a blocker. And really the first play of the game, the edge got set because of him. You know, when DJ got around the corner, it's MJ setting the edge, and then you've got Shipley and Mike Davis down there blocking downfield, but we don't get it started unless MJ does his job. He takes tremendous pride in developing his skills as a blocker, and has gotten better and better. And so that's just something that he's going to continue to work on. He's going to get better at. The more opportunities he gets, the better he gets. And so to see that in this Baylor game was very good, and that's encouraging for the future.
What impact does that kind of dual threat have on your offense?
I think the tight end position, you know, that's one area in our offense that is very, very important. And when you've got guys that can really do both, that can do well in the run game, can be explosive in the pass game and give you that element, it's very hard to defend because you can move them around in a lot of different places. And then you've got guys, you know, like MJ and DJ Grant that can play wide receiver as well. And now you've got a personnel group out there you can do everything out of. And so it puts stress on the defense when you can do that.
DJ Johnson, quickly becoming, I think, a fan favorite. We've seen him in the more traditional running back role, but we've also seen him in the backfield with Jonathan Gray more. Is that just you moving him around, or do you think he'll spend more time back there?
Well, you know, DJ came in, he started camp as a wide receiver. He learned all those formations, which really is what he needed to do, because we want to use him in different areas on the field. Recently, we've had a chance to put him in the backfield, really to get the ball in his hands. You know, out of wide receiver, you can't guarantee that the ball is going to go somewhere because of what coverage gives you. You can guarantee it when he's in the backfield. And so he's a guy that is explosive. He's a guy that's very hard to tackle from what we've seen on film. And you can see in the first play of the game, when you do get him out of space, he's got that breakaway speed. And so we just want to be able to find ways to get the ball in his hands for sure, you know, and not just out there a wide receiver. And so you'll see him in the backfield more. You'll see Jonathan, DJ back there. You'll see speed guys. So now you're putting more stress on the defense of who's going to have the ball in their hands. And it really provides a good combination for us.
We've heard a lot of chatter this week about the increased physicality at practice. How do you balance that inherent risk of injury at practice versus getting your guys ready to play?
Yeah, you know, I think that's always the topic is, you know, how physical can we be? And really when it comes down to it, the more physical you are at practice and the less you talk about it, you usually don't have those type of injuries. You know, guys are just playing football. That's what they do every Saturday. They go play live, and you know, injuries happen, but I think when their mentality is to go out there and play physical, to play fast, you usually have less. And that's really what it's been. We've just cranked it up on both sides of the ball, getting after each other, and not so much for ourselves, but to get ourselves prepared for Saturdays better. And I think that's something that the guys, they like that competition. We do some Texas on Texas. It's very much fall campish, and it really gets the competitive juices flowing because they want to go against each other and they want to compete. And I think that's really what it breeds. It breeds a lot more competition. And then you're getting the effort, the attitude, the mentality, all those things that come from that, you know, are happening in practice.
Now, one aspect of the game that you cannot emulate in practice, that would be the 40-degree temperatures that we're expecting in Kansas for kickoff. How do you prepare Texas boys for that kind of cold?
Yeah, you know, the one thing, there's so much gear now as far as, you know, being able to keep yourself warm and things like that. And really, you know, 40, 50 degrees, once you get out there and get warmed up, you're in the ball game. You know, you're sweating, you're ready to go. That stuff really doesn't affect you. You look more at wind, rain, those type of things are what would affect, you know, offensive side, throwing the ball and kicking the ball and things like that. But the temperature, that shouldn't be a problem. You know, our guys are ready for that. They understand it. We've been, you know, in some cold weather before. I think they all have. So it's not something that's going to affect us from that standpoint. It's something we do address. You're right, we can't simulate that, but we can address it and make sure that we have the right equipment out there if guys need it, and then we go play ball.
Well, thank you so much for coming by, Coach Harsin. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.